So for those who watch my channel, I assume you already know about this auth library called Better-Auth. I've been meaning to make a video about this and just try it out for the first time, but I just haven't had the time. So today we're going to try Better-Auth. We're going to set up a new project and try to get some form of authentication set up. Maybe it's a Google OAuth or email password. It looks like they have support for that. So this will be kind of a first impression type of video. So let's go to the docs. And let's skip over all this fluff stuff. I just want to go ahead and get this stuff set up. So over on the left, it looks like there's an installation. Maybe that has what we want. So you can install it with npm install Better-Auth. But I'm curious if they have like docs that walk you through something that I would be using. So they only have Next.js, Remix, Astro, Solid.js, Nux, and SvelteKit. I don't see TanStack Start here. So that's kind of disappointing. But they do, if you search the docs, they do have a TanStack Start integration. So I'm wondering why they don't have that in the examples. Okay, so full stack TanStack Start. So it says before you start with TanStack Start, make sure you do the installation, which takes us back to this page. Okay, so let's go to the quick start guide of TanStack Start. And I'm going to run this command, but I'm going to replace start basic with React Query. And we're going to go to our code editor real quick. Oh, ignore this. This is Unity. I am playing around with Unity and trying to learn how to make a game with Unity, but we're not going to do that in this video. So let's actually get that out of here. Let's move that over there. All right, so we're going to say run this, and I'll say TanStack Start basic React Query, and I'll just say like Better-Auth TanStack. Okay, let's just hopefully this makes a directory for us, and we can go ahead and open that up. So let's just go to the workspace. We'll say Better-Auth TanStack. Go ahead and npm install to get whatever we need installed. All right, going back to the docs, we do need to run this. So I'm going to run this command after npm install is done running. Okay, it's done. Let's run npm install Better-Auth. That's the auth library that we're going to be using. And then it looks like we need a secret Better-Auth secret key. So let's go here, add a .env file. We'll add that in. I'll say ABC, super secret and secure. Oh, in fact, maybe I could generate a key here. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to commit this code anywhere. Let's grab this, the Better-Auth URL. I'm guessing they probably do some type of session or JWTs. Or like, why else would you need a secret, right? They must be cryptographically signing something. I'm assuming they're using JWTs. Anyway, let's keep scrolling. Create a Better-Auth instance. So create a file named auth.ts in one of these locations. So we could do lib or utils. I'm going to go here and we'll put it here. Just go ahead and paste that in. And then we can go ahead and read a little bit more. You can also nest any of these folders under source app server folder. Okay, whatever. And then import the Better-Auth and create your own auth instance. Make sure to export the auth instance with the variable name auth or as a default export. Okay, let's grab this. You can also click on this copy button. Probably a better approach. Okay. Yeah. What else do we need to do? Configuring the database. So Better-Auth requires the database to store user data. You can easily configure Better-Auth to use SQLite, Postgres, or MySQL with Keasley, handling queries and migrations for these databases. I am going to use just SQLite because it'll probably be much easier. Do I need to actually like install Better SQL 3? I'm curious if I do, but let's just go ahead and copy this whole thing. We're going to paste this in. Yeah, I probably need to install that as well. So install that. That should install. And then we're going to scroll down. You can also provide any Keasley dialect or a Keasley instance to the database option. I am curious why they keep saying Keasley. Like, is this Better-Auth package coupled to Keasley? That's kind of concerning if it is. No offense to Keasley. We use it at work. I think it's really great. But I like the flexibility to not be coupled to an ORM or a migration builder. Let's see. And then they give an example of libsql. I don't know if they need this. Like, is this not enough? No, this is for using Terso. So that's kind of confusing. Like, they tell us how to set up with SQLite, and then they throw in a section over here about Terso. I don't know about this. It's kind of weird. I'm going to skip that. I don't think we need that, so let's skip it. All right, scrolling down, adapters, if you prefer to use an ORM or if your database is not supported by Keasley. Okay, so I think they have the option to, like, you can set this up using Drizzle if you don't want to use Keasley. I'm guessing by default they use Keasley under the hood. Which is fine. I guess they do provide the ability to use a different ORM. All right, let's just see if this works. Create a database table. Better-Auth includes a CLI tool to help manage your schema required by the library. Let's run this. Oh, I guess I just need to install the types, not this Better-Auth library. Hold on. Okay, let's run this CLI command. That's supposed to generate, what is it supposed to do? It's supposed to create the schema and probably generate the migration scripts. This command generate the ORM schema or SQL migration file. If you're using Keysly, you can apply the migrations directly with migrate command below. Use generate only if you plan to apply the migration manually. So this command I just ran is for generating a migration script for you. If I run yes, let's see what happens. We get a migration script that is going to create some things that are needed for the authentication to work. We have a user, we have a session, we have an account in verification. Okay, that's pretty good. So it looks like they are using database sessions, and then also I see a token here. So again, they're probably using some type of signed token. Maybe they're putting that in a cookie. It might be up to you to actually do something with that. Let's see if I can run this now. I think generate, they're saying don't run generate unless you like plan to manually apply this to your SQLite database, but I'm just going to try to run this and see what happens. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. It's going to create these tables. Let's say yes. Okay, so I think that applied the changes. And if you go to our SQLite database, we should have, okay, so I loaded up tables plus because I did want to verify that this is creating the tables that we expect. So I loaded up that SQLite file, and you can see on the left here, we have account, user, session, and verification. We should be good. Let's kind of move forward. So over here says we can configure some authentication methods we want to use. Better-Auth comes with built-in support for email and password and social sign-on providers. I'm going to keep this dead simple by just using social sign-on. So we're going to go back to here. I think you can just paste this in. We need a GitHub client ID. I'm going to actually change this to Google client ID because I already have like a Google thing I could probably use. Okay, Google client secret. Okay, well, I'm going to do the .env. I'm going to add these things in. Let me see if I can find an existing one. So I do have another project. Let's see, the writing platform. So there's our .env. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to probably cut this out of the video. Okay, so those are defined now. To handle API requests, you need to set up a route handler on your server. So they have all these examples here. So they have all these examples. They got Next.js, Nux, SvelteKit, Remix, Solid Start. They don't have TanStack Start. Here it is. So we got to make this routes API auth money sign. So we're going to go ahead and just make this directory. So I'm going to copy this path, and then we're going to go to here. I'll say new file. We'll paste that in, and now we have that routes API auth money sign. And then we're going to copy this code, paste this in. Make sure you update that to the right path. Create file. What is this? API auth money sign. Oh, I think it's because I need to run it. npm run dev. Let's run the actual Vite server. And then I think that should hopefully update my routes. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so create a client instance. The client-side library helps you interact with the auth server. Better-Auth comes with a client for all the popular web frameworks, including Vanilla.js. So you basically do this stuff. Again, we're going to be using React, so I think we could probably grab this lib-auth client. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a source lib-auth. Oh, they call it auth client. Let's rename this. Okay. And now you can start using it in your UI. Okay. So I think we go back and find like the main route here. So I have in TanStack Start, you have the routes, and those routes are defined in the routes directory. We could probably just get rid of most of this stuff. Like we don't need all that. I don't know what deferred is. We probably don't need that. API users. API, don't need that. Pathless layout by, okay, the root probably has like some type of top nav going on. I probably have to clean that stuff up. But I think this is like the header in a sense. So if I go back to the app, okay, we got the header here. What I want to do is following their installation guide, we should have access to these methods and we should be able to call them inside of React. So like if I just grab those. Oh, wait, no, these are exported. Where are these being exported from? Create auth client. Oh, these are just like methods that we're extracting from that. I think we're fine. Let's go to the TanStack Start guide now, and let's make sure that we're all caught up. Okay, so it looks like we have that path already created, and then it's saying that we could create the server file. We should already have this set up. We We recommend using the client SDK or auth client to handle authentication rather than server actions with auth API. Okay, when you call functions that need to set cookies like sign in email or sign up email, you need to handle cookie settings, and TanStack Start. Better-Auth provides a React cookies. Okay, anyway, I think if you want to use TanStack Start, you basically have to import this like cookie thing. Where are we using Better-Auth? I think it's here. So let's import that. And then for plugins, we're going to use it like this. And I think that's it. So they're saying basically by adding this plugin, when Better-Auth needs to set cookies, it's going to use whatever approach that TanStack Start uses for setting cookies. And I guess that's mainly for the sign-in stuff. Okay, at this point, I don't know. Are we good? Are we set up? Hopefully. So let's try to bring in on the main route that we're on, which we can go, I guess, to the root. We're going to try to bring in that auth client. So here's the header. We're going to say, we'll make a button that says sign in. Make sure that shows up on our app. So let's go to here. We got a sign in button. Great. I'll delete that header logo. And then what we want to do is I think we want to, on click, we could say auth client, import that, and I'll say dot. What methods do we have? We have a bunch of different methods here. There's a sign in method. So hopefully we can call this. And it looks like this is not callable. Maybe you have to do dot social dot. Oh, maybe not. Let's see. I want to do arguments. So you have to pass it some data. You have to pass it your provider, callback URL, stuff like that. Okay. Let's just try the provider. I'll say Google. And I think I'll do this. Okay, let's try this out. Let's see if this works. We should be able to click it. The extent of my knowledge of Better-Auth is what you saw me just read through the docs. Let's click it and see if I get redirected to any page. It looks like I didn't. So it's trying to hit API auth sign in social. But for some reason that's not there. Routes API auth. Yeah, I don't know why that's not being found. Let me make sure if I go to here, did I create the right thing? Routes API auth money sign. If I click this, does it give us an example? Okay, I've already set this stuff up. Sign in with Google. To sign in with Google, you can use the sign in social function provided by the client. The sign in function takes an object with the following properties: provider. Okay, that's what I'm calling. But I'm curious if that needs to be on the front end or the back end. Let me double check I have this thing set up correctly with the social providers. Let's go back here. We have GitHub. Oh, this needs to be Google. That's probably the issue. Let's try it again. Awesome. So that seems like it worked. Now the issue is that I think this app that I have set up, I don't have it set to the right callback URL, and that was documented over here. Right here, localhost API auth callback Google. So I do need to log into my Google console and set this up. Let me do that real quick. I cut that part out of the video, but I did go into my Google account and I added that as a callback URL. And now I can actually click on my name and it redirects us back to our app. Really cool. The last thing I want to do is typically I want to verify if we're signed in or not. I'm curious, how do we do that? So we have auth client. How do we know the state of if we're signed in or not? So maybe it's get session. Could probably be that. Use session. Oh, that could probably be useful. Use session. I'm going to try the use session. I'm going to pull that out, and up here, when the app is actually like loading, this session, could it be potentially undefined? Let's hover over it, and we'll have a session that is potentially null. So I think if we're logged in, I'll just say like if session is defined, we'll add a log out button. I'm going to copy this. Okay, and we'll say sign out. And then this will be .sign out. I wonder what this needs to take. Does it take providers or options? Like what is this? I think it's just nothing. Okay. Hopefully that works. And we're doing the same thing. If there is no session, we are going to then display the sign in button. So I'll go ahead and paste that in. Make sure that's all good. So this is typically like the things I do when I'm trying to learn auth library, is that typically you have a way to like configure it all, and then you want a sign in button, a sign out button, and a way to see that that state change to verify it's working. So let's click on sign out, and it did seem like it cleared out whatever was going on. Let's click sign in again. We go back over here. It looks like it's all working. So overall, I mean, that's pretty easy to set up. One thing I do want to double check is how is the data being stored in the database. We have a user here with my name. That makes sense. We have a verification token. I'm not sure what this is for. Maybe this is for like verifying your user, or it's maybe for verifying something else with Google. I don't know. I probably have to like read more into that. We have a session. So I think when I sign out, it should automatically delete this session. It is tracking some information about the Chrome browser I'm using, which is probably good. We got a user ID that maps to that user. Then we have an account. So I think if I were to try to sign in again with GitHub, but GitHub had the same email as this one, I think it would probably share the account, but we'd have different users, if that makes sense. It could be the other way around, but it seems like the account maps to the user ID. So maybe I'm actually wrong. Maybe you'd have one user, but you could have different accounts. Yeah, that's how it is. So we have a provider ID here, which is Google. I'm guessing if you logged in with GitHub with the same webdevcody@gmail.com, then you would have another row here for GitHub, right? All right, let's sign out and make sure that that session kind of gets deleted. So I'm going to click sign out. I'm going to just refresh, and it's gone. So that's kind of how the sessions work. Now, again, I want to check to make sure I understand how this auth library is working. Let's go to my cookies here. I'm guessing when you sign in, it's probably setting a cookie somewhere in this app. All right, so if you look over here, we have a Better-Auth session token. If you copy that and go to your database, you have a sessions table, and this is the corresponding token. At least it's some of it. You can see that this token is actually longer. So like if I were to show you, yeah, so it's like the whole token, plus they have some type of, I guess this is signing it to make sure it hasn't been modified or something. But you can see here, if I just like search for that token, I'm going to go find token here. There, it shows up. So I would be curious what this token is, because if you look at it, it's not like a 3-part JWT. It only has 2 parts, but I'm guessing the section after, like if I paste this in here, notice that this JWT IO complains. It says I need 2 periods in this string. I only have 1. So you can't really use this tool to verify it. But I'm guessing they use something like JWT or something to basically cryptographically sign the token. I don't know. I have to read through this documentation to kind of get more information about it. But overall, I mean, it seemed like it's pretty easy to get set up. It looks like they have a lot of additional features and functionality like passkey, magic link, username. Glad they're building out a good auth library, a good alternative to Auth.js, and an alternative to the approach that I was using Oslo and Arctic for my authentication. That's typically how I did authentication in my projects, is Oslo and Arctic. But it seems like a lot of people are moving on to Better-Auth. It seems like it's pretty good. So go check it out. Go give them a star. I guess I should go ahead and star them as well. Yeah, and I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are. If you guys have used this library in the past, do you like it? How much do you like it? Do you hate it? How much do you hate it? And yeah, if there's anything I said in the video, if I asked any questions out loud, feel free to answer in the comments. And hopefully this was a pretty good overview of getting it set up and how easy it was to get it set up. All right, that's about it. Have a good day and happy coding.